Hello and welcome. Today, we're jumping into something that's, well, fundamental to being human, the art of making connections. We're going to explore how we can totally transform the way we meet people and, build relationships that actually make our lives better. Think about it. Instead of that little jolt of anxiety when you walk into a room full of new faces, what if you just saw possibilities? A new friend, maybe a future collaborator, or even just someone with a story that could completely change how you see things. That's the mindset we're trying to unlock here. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with why this stuff is so important, then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of those first 7 seconds. After that, we'll talk about how to have a real conversation, adapt to different situations, and finally, how to turn a simple hello into a bond that actually lasts. All right, let's dive into our first big idea, the power of connection. Seriously, in our super fast-paced digital world, getting a grip on why we need to build relationships is the foundation for everything else. I mean, just think about it like this. Every single person you meet is a whole universe of their own experiences, their own knowledge, their own point of view. When you tap into that, you're not just improving your social life, you are literally expanding your own world. And the rewards? They're very real. We're talking about new friendships that become your rock, professional opportunities that could totally change your career path. It's about cultural exchanges that blow your mind, and the kind of personal growth that only happens when you step outside your bubble. But of course, it's not always that easy, right? For so many of us, the idea of just starting a conversation with a stranger can be terrifying. That feeling of social anxiety, that little voice in your head worrying about rejection, it's completely normal. But it absolutely does not have to be a wall. Which brings us to our next section, and this is a big one. It's all about making an instant impact. We're going to zoom in on the most critical window of any new interaction, those first 7 seconds. This is where the magic, or, the mistake, usually happens. 7 seconds. That's it. Research shows that's literally all the time it takes for someone to form a pretty solid first impression of you. It's an insanely short amount of time, but what happens in that tiny window sets the tone for everything. And I mean everything that follows. So what's actually happening in those 7 seconds? Well, what's so fascinating is that it has almost nothing to do with what you say. You've barely had time to get a word out. It's all nonverbal. It's your posture, the warmth in your face, the sound of your voice. All of that is screaming information before you've even finished saying hello. Now, the good news is you are in the driver's seat here. You have total control over this. Think of these as your tools. A real smile, that signals you're open and friendly. Confident posture, shoulders back, standing tall, that communicates self-respect. Making eye contact shows you're actually there, you're engaged. And a simple, warm greeting just wraps it all up in a nice little package. Okay, so you nailed the first 7 seconds. Awesome. But now what? How do you get from that initial pleasantry to a real, actual, engaging conversation? That's exactly what we're tackling next. The absolute cornerstone of any good conversation is something called active listening. And this is not just about shutting up and waiting for your turn to talk. No. It's about giving someone your complete attention, showing them with your body and your focus that what they're saying actually matters. It's one of the biggest signs of respect you can give another person. So here's the mental shift you have to make. Instead of panicking in your own head, thinking, oh God, what do I say next? Just get curious. Flip the switch to, what can I learn about this person? Ask good questions. It takes all the pressure off you and puts the spotlight right where it should be, on them. And here is a tip that is so simple, but it makes a huge difference. Remember their name and use it. If they mention something specific, a trip they took, a hobby, anything, try to bring it up later. That simple act of remembering makes people feel seen, and that feeling is incredibly powerful. All right, now any great conversationalist will tell you that context is king. I mean, your approach at a work happy hour should probably be a little different than at your friend's backyard barbecue, right? So let's talk about how to adapt. So for example, in a professional setting, you're trying to find that balance between being friendly and being professional. You might talk about work, career goals, maybe exchange contact info. But at a casual get-together, the vibe is totally different. It's all about relaxed, personal stories, hobbies, just getting to know each other. The real skill is being able to read the room. And this idea of adapting applies everywhere else too. Think about online chats. They're super convenient, but they don't always have the depth of a real-life connection. And it's so important to be aware of cultural differences. Some cultures are very direct, others are more subtle. Just being aware of that can make all the difference. This brings us to our final and I think most rewarding section. We've made a great impression, we've had a real conversation, so now what? How do we build on that to create something that's actually meaningful and lasts? Okay, here's the honest truth. Deep, lasting connections don't just magically happen. They are built intentionally, brick by brick, over time, with consistent effort. That initial spark you felt, that's just the starting line. So what's the recipe look like? Well, it starts with consistent effort. Actually checking in, making plans. It grows when you have shared experiences together. It gets strong through mutual support, being there for each other. And it gets deep with authenticity and empathy, letting them see the real you and trying to see the real them. And why does all this effort matters so much? I mean, this quote really just nails it. These connections aren't just a nice to have. They are our support system. They are crucial for our emotional health. They even contribute to our physical health. They are everything. So the main takeaway here is pretty simple, but it's also incredibly profound. The quality of your connections will directly shape the quality of your life. Full stop. From your opportunities to your health to your day-to-day happiness, it all comes back to the people you have around you. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. That next great friend or mentor or partner, they're not some abstract idea. They might be in this coffee shop right now or at that event you're thinking about going to. They are literally one conversation away. The only question left is, are you ready to start it?